Hey everybody, it's Shaun King. Really good to see you. I'm here in New York right now. There are protests happening all around the city, but particularly at JFK Airport, because here in New York at JFK and at airports all around the country and even all around the world, immigrants and refugees are being detained, which is despicable and deeply problematic. And we're seeing it now. It really is creating its own humanitarian crisis because amazing people are being detained here in New York. An Iraqi man who was a translator for our military was detained for hours, and it appeared that he was not even going to be released until literally my congresswoman and hundreds of protesters went to JFK to demand that he be released. And so we're seeing this happen all over the country. Everyday people, literally a young Syrian family, a mother and her children, refugees, were detained. Just as I was on my way here, I heard a family in Egypt, and many of them had green cards, and they had already bought their tickets and were planning their trip here to the United States, and they were not allowed even to leave Egypt to come to the United States because of Donald Trump's executive order banning immigrants and refugees from 7 particular countries. And so just deeply disturbing. And what we're really seeing is that Donald Trump had not thought this through, and that he had not really thought through how this would work. Or he did and just doesn't care. Because the thought that we're having people who served our military, that we're having families who are trying to escape a war zone, who've been granted admission, is just deeply disturbing. And so what we're seeing now is Donald Trump is keeping his campaign promises. These are the very things that he said he was going to do, and he's doing them. He said that he was going to create a Muslim registry. He said he was going to have a ban on Muslims. He actually went on the Christian Broadcasting Network yesterday and said, they asked him, well, what about Christians who might be coming from those countries? And he flat out said they would choose Christians and review Christians differently, and which is crazy that if you have a Christian family who is fleeing a particular country and a Muslim family who's fleeing a particular country, Trump openly said yesterday that they would treat the Christian family differently. And the question is, well, how are they determining who is a Muslim and who is a Christian? And what we're being told is that already at airports, they are indeed asking people, based on their interpretation of Trump's executive order, are you a Muslim or are you a Christian? And so that we live in this time. I saw something yesterday that almost had me in tears, where we saw a Twitter account was created sharing photos of all of the men, women, and young children who were trying to escape Nazi Germany but were denied entry into the United States. And they only shared the photos and images of the families who were denied entry into the United States, who then died in Auschwitz, who died in the war. And that's where we are right now, that we are denying everyday people who are escaping their country. We're denying them admission, and it's despicable. If you check my Twitter stream, soldiers and veterans all over this country, some of them are active soldiers, and some of them are very respected, even conservatives, are saying that what Donald Trump has done is not only deeply un-American, but is endangering our country, and is endangering our soldiers all around the world. And so what we're living in and the time we're living in is deeply problematic, that we are banning everyday people from this country is ridiculous. And not only that, but in the 7 countries that Donald Trump has listed, Donald Trump keeps talking about 9/11 and how we don't want another 9/11, but not one of the 9/11 hijackers came from the 7 countries that are listed on the ban. 19 of the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia. And in essence, Donald Trump seems to have haphazardly picked a random list of predominantly Muslim countries that our nation already has strained relationships with, and instead of picking the places where 9/11 hijackers actually came from, he picked countries that had nothing to do with 9/11. And the bottom line is, our country does not have a refugee terrorist problem. That's not how it works. And so we have to protest. We have to resist. And what we're seeing is that Donald Trump and his entire cabinet lack the integrity to do what's right in this case. I don't know if you saw it, but Mike Pence in 2015 wrote a tweet. It's now been retweeted over 100,000 times, saying how deeply unethical and disturbing it would be to have a ban of Muslims. Then Paul Ryan basically said the same thing, and so we get Paul Ryan and Mike Pence in 2015 and 2016 saying that exactly what we're seeing now would be gross and unethical. And Mike Pence even said in 2015 that this would be unconstitutional. But here he is now, vice president, and he's doing the very thing, Mike Pence, that he said in 2015 would be unconstitutional. And so many people, including the ACLU and others, are saying that what Donald Trump is doing is not just unconstitutional, but it's completely illegal. And so I'm deeply disturbed by it. We're going to continue to fight back. The Young Turks will continue to cover this, but it's unfolding as we speak. There are more protests happening here in New York later this evening, but continue to express your outrage, contact your local representatives. But we see just Donald Trump's first week has been extremely disturbing and inhumane, and I don't know how we would expect anything different, but here we are. So I appreciate you all. I'll be checking in here almost every day, and so let's continue to keep fighting, keep resisting what Donald Trump is doing, and fight back every day. Take care, everybody.